In this video, we're going to look at some very important index laws. Okay, the first one that I would like us to focus on involves multiplication, and it states that when you multiply terms with the same base, you add the powers. Okay, so with multiplication, you need to add the powers. Okay, let's have a look at some examples, and I'm going to write out the first one just to show you why the rule works like that. Okay, so x to the power of 3, okay, can be written as x times x times x. Then we have times, and then x to the power of 4, which is x times x times x times x. So in fact, I am multiplying x by itself 7 times. So the answer is x to the power of 7. Okay, so this is why we add the powers. So we don't have to write it out every single time. We can just add the powers and get our answer very quickly. So in the next example, that's going to be x to the power of 8, because 3 plus 5 is 8. In the next one, x to the power of 13. In the next one, now 3, add negative 10, that is negative 7. So it's going to be x to the power of negative 7. And then in the last one, negative 3, add negative 10, that is negative 13. Okay, remember, negative 3, add negative 10, okay, that is negative 13. Okay, those two symbols, okay, can be replaced by a minus. So minus 3, take away 10 is minus 13. Okay. Another rule that we need to look at involves division. Okay, and this time when you have two terms with the same base that you want to divide, you need to subtract the powers. Okay, and again, I'm going to write out the first example just to show you why we take away the powers. Okay, now I'm going to write it out as a fraction, so that it's easier to demonstrate. Okay, x to the power of 7. Okay, x to the power of 7, that's x times x times x times x times x times x times x. Okay, and then we divide it by x to the power of 4. Okay, x times x times x times x. Now, just because it's a fraction, we can cancel. Okay, so for example, this x with this one with this one, this one with this one, this one with this one. And now what we've got left is this. Okay, we've got x multiplied by itself 3 times. So that is x to the power of 3. So you can see that I've got 7, take away 4, which gives me 3. Okay, so with the other examples, I'm not going to write it out like that anymore. Okay, I can just use the rule. Okay, I can use this rule here, which tells me that I can just simply take away the powers when I divide the terms. So x to the power of 12 divided by x to the power of 4, that's simply x to the power of 8. In the next one, x to the power of negative 12 divided by x to the power of 4. Okay, we take away the powers, okay, so that it's x to the power of negative 16. Remember, negative 12 take away 4. Okay, we take away the powers, that's negative 16. Okay, in the next one, x to the power of negative 12 divided by x to the power of negative 4. So now we've got negative 12, we take away negative 4. Okay, now remember that those two minuses, okay, mean plus. So it's the same as negative 12 add 4. Okay, and that is negative 8. So the answer here is x to the power of negative 8. Okay, and in the last one, x to the power of 12 divided by x to the power of negative 4. Again, we've got 12, take away, -4. Okay, we've got two minuses together, that's a plus. So the answer is 16. So it's x to the power of 16. Okay, let's move on and have a look at the last rule. Okay, this rule states that when you have a term raised to a power and then it's raised to another power, you simply multiply the two powers. Okay, and again, I'm going to write out the first example just to show you why it works like that. Okay, so I've got x squared and then that is raised to the power of 3. So I've got x squared and I multiply it 3 times. Okay, so that's another x squared and then another x squared. Okay, because the power of 3 means that I need to multiply this term by itself 3 times. Okay, we already know that when I have multiplication, I can simply add powers. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 is x to the power of 6. And I can get 6 by simply multiplying those two powers. So 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so I can use this rule now to solve the rest of the questions. Now I've got a to the power of 6 and then raised to the power of 7. That is a to the power of 42. The next one, minus 1 times 4, that will be a to the power of -4. Okay, now with the next one, you need to be a little bit more careful because you need to remember about the 2 as well. Okay, the 2 is also inside the bracket and it also needs to be raised to the power of 3. And that is something that can be easily forgotten. Okay, so 2 to the power of 3 is 8. Remember, it's not 2 times 3, it's 2 to the power of 3. That means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And then we've got x to the power of 6. Okay, in the next example. Now this example can be done in 2 steps. Okay, so first I'm going to multiply the powers. So it's a to the power of 14 times a to the power of 10. Now I've got multiplication, so now I need to add the powers, so that's a to the power of 24. Okay, in the next example, again, I'm going to do it in 2 steps. First, I'm going to multiply the powers, so that's x to the power of 6, then divided by x to the power of 8. Now remember that when you have division, you take away the powers, so that's going to be x to the power of -2. Now here we have some definitely more challenging and more complex examples, okay, and you will have to probably do them in more than one step. So I've got some numbers involved here as well, okay, so I can deal with the numbers first. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and then I've got the term a. Now a to the power of 3 divided by a. Now when it's single a, you can imagine that it's the power of 1. Okay, so 3 take away 1 is 2, and I take away the powers because we've got division. In the next example, I've got 15 divided by 3, that is 5. Okay, and I've got 2 different letters, so I'm going to deal with each letter separately. Okay, so I'm just going to circle it so it's a little bit easier for me to see. I've got m to the power of 3 divided by m to the power of 2, so that is simply m. I could say m to the power of 1, but we don't have to write the 1. Okay, and then I've got k to the power of 3, and then k to the power of 5. Okay, because I've got division, I take away the powers, so it's k to the power of -2. Okay, 3 take away 5 is -2. Okay, the next one, I'm going to deal with the bracket first. So it's a. Now remember that a is also raised to the power of 3. So it's a to the power of 3 and b to the power of 6. Okay, and that's divided by a b squared. Okay, again, let's do it in steps. So I'm going to deal with a's first. So a to the power of 3 divided by a, that's a squared. And then b to the power of 6 divided by b to the power of 2, that is b to the power of 4. Because 6 take away 2 is 4. Okay, the next one, I'm going to do multiplication first. Okay, so I need to add the powers. Okay, that is going to be simply c to the power of 2, because 2 plus 0 is 2. And then c squared divided by c, that is simply c. Okay, in the next example, I'm going to deal with these two terms first. So that is 27, and now I've got multiplication, so I need to add the powers, but one of those powers is negative, so just need to be a bit more careful. To add negative 1, okay, to add negative 1, okay, remember when you add negative, that's the same as taking away. Okay, so that's simply 1, so that's simply c, and I don't have to write to the power of 1. Okay, I can just leave it as c. And then I need to divide it by 9, c to the power of 4. So I can divide the numbers, that is 3, 27 divided by 9 is 3, and then c divided by c to the power of 4. Okay, remember I can write the power of 1 just now, so it's easier to see what powers we're taking away. So it's 1 take away 4. Okay, so it's c to the power of minus 3. 1 take away 4 is minus 3. Okay, in the next question we have numbers and two different letters. Okay, so let's do it in steps. I'm going to multiply the numbers first, so that's 18. 3 times 6 is 18. Then I'm going to look at a, so I've got a, okay, times, and then a to the power of negative 5. Remember that when you multiply, we add the powers. When it's single a, that is to the power of 1. 1 add negative 5. 1 add negative 5. Okay, that is the same as taking away. So 1 take away 5 is negative 4. Okay, so it's a to the power of negative 4. And then b, okay, so that's b to the power of 4 times b to the power of 2. Because we are multiplying the two terms, I add the power, so that's b to the power of 6. Okay, in the next one, I multiply the numbers first, and that is 4. Then I look at the x terms, okay, we have x to the power of 3 and then x to the power of 2. I need to add the two powers, so that's x to the power of 5, and then I've got y to the power of 0 and y to the power of negative 5. Okay, so because I've got 0 add negative 5, that is negative 5. So it's y to the power of negative 5.